Hello everyone, it's me Samuel Taylor Ackroyd and good afternoon from Stockholm Arlanda Airport Terminal 5, where today I will be flying back home to Edinburgh with Norwegian Air on board one of their Boeing 737-800 aircraft. This will be my return flight back home to the UK after spending a few days here at Arlanda Airport to stay at the Jumbo Stay, a video of which is already on my channel, so if you haven't already I recommend checking it out. But right now I am currently just waiting for my flight back home to Edinburgh. My flight to Arlanda Airport with Norwegian Air was good, and hopefully my return flight will also be good. We arrive at Terminal 4's bus stop 3, where the P2 Beta bus stops at Terminal 4, and the bus goes around certain parts of Arlanda Airport, such as the hotels and car rental place, and is free, which is convenient. Our flight back to Edinburgh departs from Terminal 5, but due to the Terminal 5 bus stops being closed at the time of recording, we had to get off the bus at Terminal 4. All the terminals are easily accessible by foot from the other terminals, and there was clear signage telling us where to go. But before going to Terminal 5, we decided to go for some lunch at McDonald's in the Sky City shopping centre, and just outside McDonald's you get some great views of the apron, but unfortunately there wasn't many movements. After lunch we walked through the Sky City shopping centre, which is the way to walk to Terminal 5. The check-in area at Terminal 5 is very big and some of the queues were long. Thankfully, we were travelling with hand luggage only, so we were able to head straight through security, which was very easy and only took a few minutes, and there was barely even a queue. After security, you are greeted with the duty-free section, which is probably the most interesting place compared to the other shops at Arlanda's Terminal 5. After walking through duty-free, we headed towards Gate 18 with a stop at WH Smith for some drinks and snacks. After our stop at WH Smith, we continued our walk through Terminal 5, and there were mostly clothes shops and a pharmacy before the first few gates, and the gate area seemed like they had more shops that sold snacks and drinks. But we had to walk past the first few gates to get to our gate, and this part of the airport seemed to be undergoing renovation, but there were still some decent views of the apron. After we got past the area that seemed to be getting renovated, we made it to the other gate area, and there were a few places to get something to eat and drink, and another duty-free area, but there wasn't exactly a lot of options in terms of shops, to be honest. We continued onwards to Gate 18, and just before the gate, as well as a few others around it, there was a small passport control area, which was easy and quick to clear, and next to passport control is Gate 18. The area around the gate has a lot of seats available and a cafe, and the windows to the right of the gate near where passport control is offer some decent views of the apron. Here are some shots of aircraft for you to enjoy. It was eventually time for us to board our flight back home to Edinburgh. However, I do not have boarding or the taxi footage, so it is straight to the takeoff footage. We depart Arlanda's runway 19 right at 6:27 p.m, which is only 2 minutes behind schedule. Our aircraft today is registered as Sierra Echo-Romeo Papa Sierra and is a 6-year-old Boeing 737-800. Now for a seat tour. The legroom at seat 1A is excellent, which is what I expect from an extra legroom seat. The seat back pocket contains the safety card, an air sickness bag, and a buy on board menu. However, for some reason, one of the buy on board menus from our side of the first row of the aircraft was missing. There is also some safety guidance above the seat back pockets. Here is a look at the safety card. The buy on board menu isn't good in terms of duty free compared to other airlines, but the snacks and drink selection is good enough. And even though they cost a bit more than what you would normally pay for the snacks and drinks on the ground, for convenience and profit making, I think the prices are reasonable, but that is just my opinion. There is a tray table that folds up from the armrest in the front row of the cabin, which is a good size and can be pushed forward and pulled back. The button on the side of the armrest is for the seat's recline, however the recline is not that good. There are also coat hooks on the side of the seats. The bathrooms were clean and in good working order, and someone around 6 feet tall can fit in here. In conclusion, the bathrooms on this aircraft are good. At the end of the day though, it's just a bathroom and it gets the job done. When the crew came round serving snacks and drinks, I opted for a can of Fanta and a Toblerone bar. This aircraft is also Wi-Fi enabled and the prices are reasonable. However, as this flight was just under 2 hours, I didn't bother paying for Wi-Fi. The website also lets you track the progress of the flight with things such as distance, time, speed, altitude, and the weather of the destination. As we are descending over Scotland, I will now tell you the cost of this flight. The low-cost fare was £25.70, £19 for an extra legroom seat selection at the front of the aircraft, £5.40 for Swedish passenger tax, and £13.80 for passenger charge. That's a total of £63.90. While yes, that is not the cheapest, Norwegian Air did a good job at getting me from A to B with no problems at all. And when travelling between Sweden and Scotland and vice versa, that's not too bad of a price, and there's probably flights out there that are more expensive than that. The views from the window were great, and the window seats are the best seats in my opinion. And the descent into Edinburgh offered some great views, but the best part of landing in Edinburgh is when runway 24 is in use, and sitting on the left side, because you can see the docks at Leith, Arthur's Seat, and some areas around Edinburgh city centre, aka Princess Street. We land onto Edinburgh Airport's runway 24 at 7:24 p.m, which is 16 minutes ahead of schedule. After we parked up, the flight crew let me into the cockpit, and the pilots even let me make changes in settings to the aircraft systems for the return flight back to Arlanda Airport. Here are some shots of me inside the cockpit. The crew were also kind enough to give me one of the spare safety cards as some memorabilia for the flight, which was definitely a good one, and we got to disembark via stairs to the tarmac, which is always a great way of boarding or disembarking an aircraft. As this was an international flight, we had to go through passport control once again, and on the way there, we got some good views of our aircraft parked up from some of the windows. Passport control is a short walk away from the gate we parked at, gate 15, and after a few technical difficulties with passport control, we passed through the baggage reclaim belts and we were back home in Edinburgh. And that concludes my flight with Norwegian Air between Stockholm Arlanda Airport and Edinburgh, and I think the flight went absolutely brilliant. Kicking things off at Arlanda Airport, even though it's not exactly the best airport with not that many options, it's still good, and the flight with Norwegian Air, definitely brilliant. The crew were friendly and attentive, the seat was very comfortable, and the fact that the crew let me into the flight deck at the end of the flight was absolutely amazing, and even gave me some memorabilia, which is the safety card from the flight, which I'm very grateful for. And Norwegian Air have done me proud for a second time, so I would definitely recommend flying with Norwegian Air if you ever get the chance. And yeah, the flight was very good, and despite some technical difficulties at passport control at Edinburgh Airport, my time at the airport at the end of the flight was pretty smooth. So all in all, I think that trip with Norwegian Air was very good, just like the first one. And like I said already, I would highly recommend flying with Norwegian Air if you get the chance. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.